out and we have a very interesting session about Kenya. And I actually don't want to do this alone. I want to do it with my team. Easy to say my name. And how many of you have heard the name Nikki before? Yeah. We're in a French place. This is moi. So moi Nikki. Yeah, moi Nikki. Me Nikki. That's me. Easy to remember. And my second name is Mageria. Yeah, and I need Mageria. Nigeria, Mageria. Yeah, easy to remember. Now, I must say something that our dear MC said, and I want to say it from an outsider point of view. Nollywood has set the bar for Africa. In fact, you've set the bar for the whole world. And I think you need to give yourselves a better applause than that. Because, as I told you earlier, you're like our big brother. We really look up to you. In fact, I call it the 4-factor. It's like a 4-factor. Everything you do is like times 4 of Kenya. For instance, our capital city has 5 million people. But here, Lagos, capital city is times 4. If you look at our population, we're about 50 million people. You guys are times 4. Imagine that. And then even if you look at things like, well, let's see. We've got very big cars in Kenya. But here, times 4. This girl's got it, man. She's got it. You're with me, my dear sister. Our food is really, really nice. But in Nigeria, times 4. And even if you look at personality, things like personality, our neighbors, Tanzanians, tell us that we're very loud. We call it charisma. But in Nigeria, and by the way, our women in Kenya are fine, fine, fine. But you're crazy to think that I'm going to tell you times 4 for you. All right, I'd like to invite on stage, Albert, please come on stage. I'd like to invite Duta, please come on stage as well. Where's Dennis? Dennis, I'd like you to come up here. Please come as well. These are the guys, these are professionals in the industry in Kenya, and we want to have a discussion with you guys. What do you want to do in Kenya? We can do everything that you want to do in Kenya. We have got the technical know-how. We're very, very well-trained people. We even had, and I know you have this as well, people who were trained by Supersport to do the sports, Obi-Wan, outside broadcasting, 8 to 10 cameras, that kind of stuff. We have all that in Kenya. The other thing I wanted to say about Kenya is that, I wanted to say Nigerians know how to look for opportunity. And the opportunity right now in Kenya is that we watch a lot of Nigerian content. The other thing I wanted to say very quickly, and just give an introduction, is that we have a very enabling environment in Kenya as well. One, because we like to do co-productions with other countries, and we've already have done a few with Nigeria. I think the most popular one that was known was with Rita Dominic. She featured in it. It was called Shattered, and it was a big blockbuster in Kenya, and I don't know how I did here. And I wonder. Yes, brother Jethro. Yeah, brother Jekwo. Yeah, that also was another one with what is his name? Mike. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I wasn't on that one.
I know you acted in that one.
No, I'm insisting. I don't want to.
We also have very willing government agencies. Now, one of the things that the government agencies are doing right now, in fact, Kenya Film Classification Board, is trying to help us get our content down to the very grassroots, right down to the grassroots. It's called Cinema Mashinani, where we have outside, what shall I call them, screenings, outdoor screenings with vans and trucks, and that brings the movies right down to the very grassroots. And that is something that the government is working with us. Agencies like KFCB, that's a very important, I think, initiative that makes things happen that way. What else did I want to say? Swahili, I told you, is a big opportunity. We can help you speak Swahili. We can help you reach all the other people. But as our good friend Albert said, you don't need to change. We want to hear your pidgin. We want to hear the way you talk. And then we want to share how we talk as well and work towards a Kenyan and African language and African communication. The other thing that we talked with piece earlier, and we said we have these boundaries that have been imposed on us, different countries from, across Africa. But we are one people. We are one nation. And we can understand one another. We are each other's cousins. That's what he said. We are cousins. So let's use that boundary. Let's crush that boundary. Let's work across borders. You're told in Kenya, you just walk in and you get your visa at arrival. For the statistics, I know some people want some statistics. We have licensed 220 TV stations, free-to-air TV stations. But right now on air, about 90 of them are on air. And off school, we've got 5 pay TV bodies that have in total together about 400 channels, online channels that is. Then we also have online channels like View Sasa and others like those. So there are opportunities, and I would like to have a small discussion about what other opportunities do you see that are available for our brothers and sisters from Nigeria?
Wow. There's so much. There is so much. And the reason I feel like, I don't want to say so much today because I'm going to be speaking to you all tomorrow, but I've had the opportunity to shoot here. And the fact that the only thing I can say to you is that once you're in Kenya, you shoot in Kenya, you have shot in Africa. Why do I say that? From our capital city, Nairobi, 360 degrees round, you have shot in every single location you can think of. Snow-capped mountain, lakes, the beach, Capitol Forest, desert, you name it, we have it in 45 minutes. So jumping from one place to another, you'll be able to get all the locations you want, not so far away from you. The advantage of us having also counties, what you call states here, you have counties with our governors there who are willing to do business with you today. And the fact that you have a licensing board today, like KFCB sitting here, is basically telling you Kenya is ready for business and help you come home because you're our cousins, right? And make business, right? So I don't want to say so much, otherwise we'll be taking too much out about that.
Albert?
All right, so the opportunity in Kenya is everyone is saying it. There's lots of opportunity in Kenya. But that's because we're on the cusp. You see, we've watched so much content over time. Last year, I think Kenya made more local films than we've ever made in all the years before that put together. So as a filming nation, we are growing into our own. But here's the other reason there's opportunity in Kenya. I used to run a company called Film Studios that is the largest grips and lights rental facility in East and Central Africa. My grips and gaffers were permanently in Lagos. I was always sending someone this way to work in the industry here. That's because we have some of the best trained techs there are on the continent. Our techs work in the UK, our techs work in South Africa, our techs work in Rwanda, across the region, and here as well. You could assemble a unit, pick up your phone now and call Nairobi, and you'll assemble a unit that will be ready for you when you land to do whatever it is you want to do. You know the series Sense8? The techs on that were all from Kenya, and they are all waiting for you right now. We have pretty much, some of our gear is more advanced than what's available here, that's true. So some of the lights that are available in Nairobi, sky panels, LED Fresnels from Ari, a lot of that gear is flash and ready and waiting for you in Nairobi. We have some of the biggest sound stages in the region. We've got so much. It's just that we are your rather humble cousins and we don't make that much noise about what works in Kenya for you. But as a film location, Kenya is absolutely amazing. Look, from out of Africa, every single year there will be an international film that has been somewhere, that is either about life in Kenya or has been shot in Kenya. So it definitely looks like we need your largesse. We need the Nigeria style of doing things back home. We need to be bigger and louder. And the reason why we're here is because we want our cousins from the other side to come make noise with us so everybody knows that we're around. Look, this continent is ours. How long have they been telling stories about us that are not true? Have you noticed how in Western films, Africans' clothes are always dirty? I haven't seen any dirty clothes in the audience. So who exactly are they making films about? Us. So we want to make our own films. We want to tell the stories that you're telling, and we want you to tell your stories with us, and we want to tell our stories with you, because the truth is, there are lots of Nigerians in Nairobi, and there are lots of Kenyans in Lagos. So why aren't we just telling each other's stories? And here's the other thing. Films don't need visas to cross borders. The fastest way to build a relationship across a continent is to tell stories together. So if we tell our stories together, eventually our kids will not need to go and watch a Captain Marvel or whatever they want to call the Avengers at that point. I mean, they've rehashed the same story a million times and we're still watching it. Aren't you guys tired of Superman always being white? Wouldn't you like to see a black man in his underwear flying? So,
Maybe not in his underwear.
so we've got, oh, family man, come home. We're waiting for you. There's a whole country. Like this guy here. I mean, he doesn't say a lot, but he's an amazing writer. And I do mean amazing, because you can send him a script from anywhere, and he'll turn your script into Kenyanese, so that Kenyans will understand what you're talking about. So if you're worried that your pidgin is not going to get across in our market, send us your script, and then we'll convert. We'll merge it with our language and speak one language, because we understand each other. Yeah. So when you guys are ready, give us a shout. We're waiting.
Dennis.
I think you guys have basically emptied out the pot. But coming from the scriptwriting point of view, I think there's an opportunity for us to collaborate, because as I was just speaking, when we see Batman, we see Superman, we see the Avengers and these other guys flying, it's technology. But when your grandmother communicates to you when she's at the countryside using a mirror, then it's witchcraft, you know. So basically, yeah, it's witchcraft. We refer to it as witchcraft. Your grandmother is talking to you on the mirror, it's witchcraft. Superman flies, it's technology that is enabling Superman to fly. So it's basically the way the white men project us to be. And I think it's time that, again, we change these narratives, we change these cultures. As guys, as he was talking about, I think in terms of production, in terms of the crew, we are set to go. And again, we know you guys have very amazing stories. The reason why you find, again, Nollywood is very big in Kenya is because of your stories. You'll find somebody does not understand your language, but they are glued to the screen because they kind of relate with the characters that they are seeing there. Even the discourse that you guys were having, it's interesting. Numbers were being bounced here, and I was seated there behind, and I'm like, whoa, okay. But you find that people go to the theaters. Moses was mentioned, I think, until I knew his name. People, and he showed some spreadsheets that he had here. The highest grossing film that we saw last year was Black Panther, true? Nobody went to the theater to see camera angles from Black Panther. Nobody. Everybody went there to see the story. The camera angles, the lighting, whatever other things that were there were just aesthetics to make the story better. So I think there's that gap for us to come together, do stories that represent our people, and at the end of the day, you know, make money out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. A round of applause for Dennis. Now, I'd like to open it up for, I think, a 5-minute discourse. I think it's 5 minutes. But before you do that, I've talked to both. I talked to Moses, and I told him, Moses, we cannot talk about, we cannot get to the 60,000 screens like China unless we start opening up Africa. If a movie is opening in Lagos, it should open in Nairobi. That's what should happen. So I think that's a very big step that we need to take together. And Film House, I saw Genesis, I saw so many different places. Film One, is it Film One? And other places. We all need to work together and make sure that we are, across the whole continent, we're opening at the same time, just like they do with the Hollywood movies. So it's open up to you. We have 56 screens in Kenya, 50 screens. And in Nigeria, times 4. Ah, you got it. There's a question there. Please give him a mic, please. Give the gentleman a mic. And there's some 2 back there.
I want to ask,
Yes.
what is happening with Konza City that is developing?
Ah, good question. All right.
I would love the writer to go back home and think of a series, a soap around Konza City.
Okay. Konza City.
Yes.
You know about Konza? Excellent. All right.
I'm using it in the script I'm writing for somebody in Kenya. So go back and think about a series or serial on Konza City, how it is encroaching on the traditional homestead of the people around it.
Okay, that's an interesting. All right, that's an interesting point. Konza City is a film city. It's a techno city. It's a techno city that they're building outside Nairobi, which will have all sorts of technology, including a film studio and all that kind of technology. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. My name is Tolu.
Hi, Tolu.
I, at the time, sometimes last year, tried to come make a film in Kenya, and I found out that I had to pay for everything. Now, let me say this. In Nigeria, the way we do it is we don't pay for everything. That's the only way. Because if you pay for everything, then
You don't make money.
You don't make any money. And so my biggest challenge was finding producers who knew how to,
Not pay for everything.
Yes, because let me explain. Let me explain. So I walk into an hotel and they tell me you must pay $200 per night, and I'm bringing. I need to take 30 rooms, and I need to be there for 14 days, and then my budget is looking like I'm spending it on the hotel. And of course I'm trying to have conversations with people who should be able to help me close these things, but I just got tired, and I went somewhere else where, there might.
Where you didn't have to pay for everything.
Yes.
So this is what I'd say to you. You need to co-produce. And just the same way everyone here has been saying, in your preparation, take time to prepare, take time out, talk to people on the other end. You're not going to rock up at the airport and then expect the producer to be able to get you a hotel on your word. I mean, really. So the best way to do it is talk to us in advance. Tell us what you've got to offer. Let's then talk to the hotel and tell them, look, there's some fabulous product placement available for you in this film. We can do it. I've done it for other people. I can do it for you. All you need to do is reach out. Like I said, give us a shout. We're waiting for you.
Oh, you get it. You get his number.
Let me add something to this, just to make sure that you get we get this message across. When I was talking about counties, I'll give you an example, right? I have a producer in India who's coming down to Kenya to shoot, to co-produce with us. And I talked to one of the counties, this what you call a state, right? And we have been able to work through government to help with the visas. They've given us free accommodation from the county as long as they have that, they get the recognition. You get free location. You get waiver of your licenses. So basically, you bring your expertise. Now, whatever you require, it just needs talking. That's one thing I realize in Nigeria. What I've learned is that people talk.
Yeah.
All right? You don't shut it down. Don't give up. Now, once you know me, or you know some of us, this is the beginning of my cousin. Now, you see, I came home, right?
You have a
Did I
cousin?
tell you my name is Ngozi? Huh? Did I tell you that now? Okay, so basically we are starting that right now. So no, don't lose hope. We are here, and it is possible.
Let's
it
co-produce.
can be done.
Yeah.
Okay?
So there's a lady there, and then I'll go back to the gentleman over there. Yeah.
Hi, cousins.
Hi, cousin.
Then I can't
So I'm Ebele, and I'm a filmmaker. You actually have answered one question, because I wanted to ask what initiative you guys have to encourage us to come, to our other home. So that was one. You've answered that. Then I also wanted to ask, are there like task rebates or that would encourage us to also come as well to shoot in Kenya? Because as a producer,
Okay.
if I'm carrying my crew and my cast, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we talked about that with my good friend Juliet just now. On paper, in policy, our policy is taking forever to get done. Our film policy, that is, our government film policy. But what has happened is when we have a particular situation, we go to government and tell them, we would like you to consider waiving this, and this. And it has happened in the past. As he said, they've done it, you've done it. You've approved, you've done it. We have the government agency right here. and we tell them, guys, these guys are coming from Nigeria, they are brothers, they want to shoot this is what we want to do, and we would like waivers on this and this and this. And we ask for specific things, and we'll get it. The government has not yet given us a complete blanket waiver or rebates and that kind of thing. That has not yet happened. But we have actually gotten it done for specific cases. We can actually name those cases, but yeah, it has happened. So yeah, welcome. Just come talk to us. We want to co-produce. We want to co-produce, guys. Thank you, cousin.
Okay. Thank you very much. Welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you.
Unabiala. No, first, just some more good news about Kenya. I was the regional secretary for FEPASI, Federation of Pan-African Filmmakers. And it's important to know that the government of Kenya hosted the FEPASI
for 3 years,
secretary for 4 years,
4
and they were
years.
given $1 million every year.
Wow.
Kenya is also going to host the African Audiovisual and Cinema Commission, which is a specialized agency of the African Union that will have about $500 million for African filmmakers. So I just to add some more information.
Thank you.
In Nigeria, you actually are supposed to pay to shoot. It's in the enabling law of the Nigerian Film Corporation and Lagos State Film and Video Censors Board. But because of pressure from the industry, it's been stepped down. But the actual solution to what you're talking about is to have an official co-production.
Exactly.
Not the one I decided to do with my friend John Karanja, your colleague.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
John.
Of course I know
Yes,
John.
yes.
So you have to have an official co-production, which will mean that any production from those two countries will be treated as a production from that country.
Okay.
That will mean that if Nigeria has a co-production treaty with Kenya, if you're shooting a film in Kenya, it will be treated as a Kenyan film. I just thought to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. All right. I have one more hand here. Oh, 2 hands. Okay. So we'll allow those 2 hands, and then I will have to hand back to my delightful, very beautiful. Go check it, dog. There's one.
Magaria, that's your cousin.
Oh, it's my cousin.
That's your
Oh,
cousin.
sorry. It's my
Okay,
cousin.
ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm just going to take it from what the last speaker said. With this enthusiasm, is it just possible that the two industries, this Riverwood and Nollywood, can make effort to put a co-production treaty together?
Noted.
It is then that we can explore government benefits and every other thing so that we can access
point.
these screens one touch.
One
The
touch.
enthusiasm from that end and from this end can make this just happen instead of speaking and going home to think that
We'll do something.
Go.
So we do it before we go back, eh?
thank you.
Okay.
We
fact,
should find,
just-
if we can have a meeting and do that and begin to set,
Just to encourage you,
Yeah.
we just concluded the Kenya Indian Film Festival, and Kenya and India have signed a treaty.
beautiful.
Okay,
A round of
it's up
applause
for
for
you.
that. We don't have a
And-
single treaty in
also-
place with any country.
And also to challenge you,
Yeah.
Kenya right now is about to ratify the Beijing Treaty, and I know Nigeria is just there. So if all that is done, then it's easier now all of us to work together.
What does the Beijing Treaty do?
What does it do? Please. We don't need Beijing.
That
That's
will
my
have to.
session
I'm sure-
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
We'll talk
another
about it
session.
tomorrow.
She'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's the final one?
Yeah, hi, good evening. My name is Sean Daniel. I produced a movie called Nimbe and was recently nominated for an award in a film festival coming up in Nakuru, Kenya.
Oh,
in
yes.
November.
Lake International Film Festival.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So I know I'm required to. So you mentioned that the K is a representative from the Film and Censors Board here. So I'm required to do that. So I'd like to meet the person afterwards.
Who's going to
Don't
wave?
point me in the right
Charity.
direction for the KFCB.
Was it Charity or Marcos? Oh, is it Nelly? Yes, talk to Nelly. Wave Nelly.
Okay.
That's the lady.
Okay, good.
All right.
Sorry, let me quickly tell you. After your classification, before you even move the film outside the country, you need to classify. You need the approval of National Film and Video Censors Board. And National Film and Video Censors Board is equally working with the Kenya Film Classification Board to collect that approval before it is legalized. Otherwise, if it's found in their market, soon with our new collaborations, Nigerian films that found their way illegally into the East Africa, championed by Kenya, we're going to raid virtually everything. Thank you.
All right. So, and you have.
Okay.
to add to what he has said, for us to maybe waive the license, because remember it's only the licensing.
Yes.
What happens is that it must have been rated in Nigeria
First.
because if it's not been rated here,
you can't, yes.
then we will not know whether it's gender exhibition, parental
Thank
guidance, or what. So whatever the case, it must have been rated here first.
That's Nelly Muluka. She's the communications director at Kenya Film Classification Board. Thank you, Nelly. I'd like you guys to give closing remarks. Anybody, then we can hand back.
It's strange. I'm a filmmaker, but I'm actually going to speak for the censorship board because I think that, especially in this country, it is absolutely critical that you have your films rated. And let me tell you why. If your film can come into the Kenyan market already rated, that means that we know that your film exists. I am certain that there are some filmmakers here whose content may already be playing in Kenya without your knowledge, which means that they're not paying you. So, you know, it is better for you to have your film rated on this end and then rated on our end, because then we know it exists. So when it shows up on TV, what is your right will be paid to you. Either that, or we have Afro Cinema plays every day for at least 8 hours. I am certain that your films are already showing in Nairobi and you don't know.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I don't want to be called again. Kuja Kenya. Kuja Kenya means come to Kenya. Nice to see you, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Our cousins from the other side.